Hey, what's up guys? John here. I moved to Cleveland 75 days ago. I sold my place in Delray Beach, Florida. You know, Delray Beach is a beautiful spot. A lot of people love Florida, and many people don't understand why you moved to Cleveland. Well, I'm going to share with you what I've done here and why I think many people are going to be relocating all over the world, all over the country in the coming year or two as the world gets so much harder and this inflation crisis gets a lot worse.
U.S. inflation increased by the most in 8 months in December. The Fed's preferred inflation gauge rose 0.3% last month.
It doesn't matter who is in office. When you look at the amount of debt that this country has, the amount of problems that this country has.
U.S. government debt is now the highest in history.
The number one threat to our nation right now is our debt.
There's no way with AI right in front of us and $2 trillion worth of corporate debt that has to get refinanced over the next 18 months.
Over the past decade, companies borrowed more and more as interest rates hovered near zero.
This does not lead to massive, massive job layoffs. You know, they're already talking about issuing 2 million buyout opportunities and options for federal workers.
President Trump is making more than 2 million federal workers an offer. Quit now and accept a severance package.
You have every major company trying to issue layoffs and get rid of employees, whether it be Amazon.
The online giant reportedly plans to lay off nearly 10,000 employees.
Whether it be Kaiser Permanente or teachers unions.
2 major Twin Cities school districts recently authorized a vote to strike, with 97% of teachers.
More than 75,000 Kaiser Permanente workers are set to go on strike at midnight.
Or UAW strike.
Now day 3 of a historic strike by thousands of United Auto Workers.
All of these different conglomerates, these different companies trying to find ways to get rid of employees. So as we start walking into this inflationary crisis, he or she who has assets, I believe, will be way better positioned for the storm that we're coming really into. But what I believe the right assets are affordable properties. Entry-level places people can actually afford to live in. Not these shiny luxury buildings that people are investing in, these done houses, just stunning homes. Those are probably the assets you don't want to hold if you're a landlord. What you want to hold is stuff like this. This property is a full gut renovation. I bought this for $45,000. 45 grand. I have the demo crew. They'll be here in about 15 minutes to finish everything up, all the cleanup. You can see this place is got a big dumpster out front. This place will be done probably today, but we're going to spend about $25K fixing this entire place up, and we're also putting a third bedroom in the attic here, which is very common in Cleveland. So we should be able to rent this at the end for $1,450 to $1,500 a month. So you think about that. All in, maybe 60, 70 grand, $1,400-$1,500 a month, right? And these are good neighborhoods. I'll show you the neighborhood. And also I have 15 billboards going out, or already out. Actually, I'm going to show them to you in this area. And I think this is the big opportunity. I think investing in affordability is the big play here. Look at this neighborhood. Look at this neighborhood. This house is gonna look so nice. It's about 45, 60 days from now, it'll look really nice. So I'm gonna show you these billboards and kind of show you what I've been doing here, what my team looks like, and kind of what my days look like now. Before in Delray Beach, Delray is a very beautiful, beautiful area in Florida. A lot of people love Delray and travel there, during, Christmas time. And the thing with Delray and the thing with a lot of these really nice places is that it is just so expensive to live. And as people start struggling more and more, people will be relocating. You got 35% of the U.S. workforce now working remote. So you got 35% of the U.S. workforce now working remote. You have tens of millions of retirees in pretty big trouble. You have institutional investors looking for places in which they can allocate capital. And I think all points to these affordable properties. Like any of these homes behind me would probably cost a couple $100,000 just to build, right? You buy them for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. How do you lose money? So that's my play. I think we're going to see inflation get so much crazier in the next 24 to 36 months that I'm going to go all in on properties here in these markets with no debt. I'm either going to pay or keep them paid off, or I'll refinance a very, very conservative portion of that equity. 50%, 60%. Because I think ultimately what's going to happen too, and a lot of people aren't going to get ready for this, will be insurance. If you look at what's happening in California, what happened in Florida, Hawaii, and all these different areas, what you're going to see is an insurance crisis on the horizon. Now these properties, the insurance costs somewhere in that $550 to $800 a year, in that range. Very inexpensive. If you're in any other city, you're probably looking, especially California, you're looking at a lot more than that. You're looking at probably 4 or 5 times that amount. Now, here's one of these, actually I want to pull over here. Here's one billboard. There's actually 2 of them back to back. Just in this little pocket, this little quarter-mile pocket, I have 10 billboards. Look at this. So, Motivated Home Seller, upside down, sellfastcleveland.com. I'll show you this. So you got this side here. Now the reason I went with these billboards over, you know, what most investors do, what most real estate investors do, is they'll try to find some off-market deals, and they'll try to find an opportunity. But I think, there's the other one, I think the opportunity is being aggressive right now when the world is afraid. The world is very, very afraid of what the future could look like. In the next 6 months, 12 months, investors are skittish, and that's the moment you want to strike. These homeowners, a lot of them want someone that's going to be able to close. When you see someone on a billboard, obviously, the person's serious about their business. So my plan is to continue to advertise and advertise in my business, to focus on what I believe is going to be the big trend, which is going to be this affordability crisis, and capitalizing on it. You know, I'm very fortunate because when I came here, I was able to assemble a crew immediately. Like, I don't know how it happened at that rate and that speed, but it just happened like almost overnight. I mean, I've been here 75 days. I've already closed on 7 properties, a retail center with an apartment. I'm closing on 3 properties next week for investors, and I have a couple other investors we're going under contract on, you know, the next several days. But we're just looking for incredible opportunities. Like I have investors right now, a bunch that are really excited to invest, but I won't sell them a house that I would not buy for myself. Like if the deal is not absolutely incredible, I wouldn't sell it to them. I'm definitely not buying it, and we'll just pass on it. And that's why with these billboards, which is awesome, is everyone will go directly to the website, all the home sellers in the area, put in their information, we can go over there and give them a offer right on the spot, all cash. If they accept it, then you know either myself or one of the investors will grab it, and we'll oversee the renovation, rent out the property via Section 8, and the investor can rinse and repeat. I mean, these homes, I just don't think we are going to see these values in these entry-level markets stay where they are, because the future is way too inflationary for these very, very inexpensive homes to continue to stay at these price points. Now, here's another billboard right here. This one, and then I have 3 others literally right here. So here's one. I mean, I'm getting millions of impressions. I bet every week. Right there. I don't know if you can see it. I'm gonna cross the street here. Every week we should be getting millions of impressions. I don't know if you can see that. But I was here yesterday filming a video, and I was like saying something in front of this sign here for Instagram, and a guy was parked right there. He's like, "Hey, John, And I was like, hey, what's up, man? And he's like, I got a deal for you. I'm like, how did you know my name? I didn't know if he was like a YouTube subscriber. And he's like, oh, from the billboard. I recognize your face, and I see you're at This Is John Williams on Instagram. And I'm like, cool. And so he's like, yeah, on Monday I'll give you a call. So we ended up connecting over it. So it's really cool. I had this conversation with my dad, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, very long time ago. And he said, John, a business with no sign is a sign of no business. Like, yep. Like, you don't want to advertise heavily into whatever it is that you're doing. And when you're in this inflationary world, if you're just sitting on cash, that purchasing power is just getting killed. Every quarter, it's just getting, more and more and more eroded. And so for me, I'm going to keep a certain percentage of cash that will offset any type of turbulent time, keep debt expenses extremely low, and during the chaos, here's another one, look at this one. I'm gonna pull over here. And during the chaos, capitalize on it. Capitalize on everything. See? Motivated home seller, sellfastcleveland.com. So, we got tons of these. But yeah, on a typical day, we're running 4 to 5 jobs, because all those deals that we just bought or freshly closed, like the last 3 to 4 weeks, and one of them is a 2-unit. So there's 2 jobs, one downstairs to the retail, and then one upstairs to the apartment. So, how I've been fortunate at finding this crew, and here's another one right here, is because I saw this guy working out front of a property that I was looking to acquire. It was this duplex. He seemed like a really nice guy. And I'm like, hey, do you got a card? And he gave me his number. He's like, no, I don't have a card, but here's my number. So I gave him a call. Here's the other one. I gave him a call, and he came and bid out the job. And his bid was 20% of the price of the other bid I got from somebody else. And I'm like, there's just no way this guy's making money on this deal. But he was, because he has no expenses. Like, he has a very old truck that it looks like it barely runs, covered in rust. And he just has a really good attitude. He wants to be a pastor at a church, and he's every few days he's going to Bible study and doing whatever he has to do to become a pastor. And his entire crew are people from church, and they're very, I would say, they have very low expenses. Like, they don't have the shiny trucks and all this stuff. And so he did the job, really, really great attitude. I'm like, you know what? I like this guy. I'm gonna give him more work. I gave him another job, and another job, and another job, and now he's my guy. And then he referred me to this concrete guy. This concrete guy has very high expenses. He's got the shiny truck, and he tells me, yeah, I got a $500,000 house, and he bid out this job after this, because I have a foundation problem on a property that I personally purchased, that I was aware of. Like, I got an incredible deal on this place because it just needs work. And he bid out the job, and then he asked, hey, I need some more work. And I was like, well, what would you charge me for this? And he gave me this number. And then he was saying to my other guy, the one that was working for very, very, very low prices, oh, and in a few months that guy's not going to be around because he's not making enough money to stay around, and you're going to have to bail him out because he's just, he's going to be broke and this and that. And I said, well, in a few months I see him with a new truck and a full-fledged crew and a thriving business off of what we're doing. And he was basically just trying to bash him. And then in my head I was thinking, I want this guy to be 10 times more successful than you, just because you're going to bash a guy that referred you business. And that's what I'm going to help him do. And yeah, crazy how some people can get. But at the end I said, he doesn't have the same expenses. He doesn't have the new truck. He doesn't have a $500,000 house. He can work for a rate in which makes sense for me. And he's like, he tried to backpedal. Oh, I can work for a day rate. I can work for a day rate. Just give me a little bit each day. And he tried to revive it. Not saying I wouldn't work with the guy again, but yeah, anybody that talks bad about other people, you know, you just imagine they do the same thing about you behind your back. Here's 2 more billboards right here. Yeah, so I mean, I've been very fortunate with assembling a really, really good crew and finding great properties. And I believe there's just no way that we don't scale up acquiring incredible opportunities. Here's one. And then I also got the other side of this billboard too. And this is just one pocket. There's right behind me here. Horrible tenants, selfaskcleveland.com, right? So, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Thank you. She said, congratulations. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep a great crew. We're gonna close on incredible deals. We're gonna take care of our investors. We're gonna carefully vet our tenants, and we're gonna operate this business with operational excellence. And I heard Henry Kravis of KKR, which was one of the, you know, and still is one of the largest buyout firms. And what he said in an interview in his 30s, someone was asking him, this is like on his upswing when they bought out Nabisco, and he basically built that business, the leverage buyout business. Back then they called it like bootstrap acquisitions. And he was in an interview and the lady said, what are your thoughts on doing these huge deals and, you know, impacting all these workers? And then he said, it's not about the deals that you're acquiring, it's about how you're operating and what deals you're closing on. Everything comes down to operational excellence. And I'm like thinking about that. It's like, it's so true. You can buy the best deal, but if you have bad operations, the deal's gonna fail. And that's why you see a lot of out-of-state investors getting creamed, you know, buying deals that even if they're good, they just don't have the right team in place and the deal fails. It's like everything comes down to that operational excellence. And so for us, we're building out a custom CRM, which is gonna automate a lot of what we're doing. And we're gonna have things so we have so many things that are in the works that I'm not gonna go into right now, but it's gonna be a complete game changer. It's gonna be a complete game changer. And it should all be done in about 10 days, then I'll announce it. But yeah, really exciting stuff. A lot of people look out in the world and they see all these things that are unfolding and they don't know, you know, what they should do. If you have a business, invest in your business, invest in your people. Saving money is probably not gonna be the best over the next 5 years. I can promise you that the value of the dollar is gonna likely continue to go down. The cost of living is gonna continue to go up. And so if you're not investing in your business, you're not investing in your people, you're not trying to scale, you know, your financial security through other investments or, you know, whatever it is that you specialize in, I think it could be a big mistake. When you look at the last 5 years, the rich got a hell of a lot richer and everyone else, you know, suffered. The next 5 years is gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be the same exact thing, I promise you. There's almost no other alternative because the government has so much debt, they have no choice but to inflate their way out of it. I saw that interview with Ray Dalio on All In, on the All In podcast. He was saying the same thing. He's like, prepare for significant inflation. And in 2013, Bridgewater and Associates, which he founded, was the largest hedge fund in the entire world. Like, this isn't just some guy that's like, oh, this is gonna happen. I mean, he's a guy that I believe has access to better information, better sources, and more contacts than any of us could ever wish to have. You know, he's probably a really, really good source of information. So I agree with him. I think inflation is going to get worse, and investing in the right assets and the right businesses is going to prepare you for success. What do you think about this entire situation? Let's have a conversation below. And if you'd like to learn more about what I'm doing in Cleveland, the markets I'm investing in, if you have $100,000 or more that you're thinking about investing, you can click the link in the description just below this video at singlefamilyinvestors.com. That's singlefamilyinvestors.com. Catch you next video.